Hello, my name is George Raya. I'm from Sacramento. I'm 65 and recently retired. I am a gay Latino and originally started as an activist within the Latino community and then started working within the LGBT community. I came out my freshman year, spring freshman year, and came out on campus because we, in 1970, had filed to have a gay student group on campus. It was the Society for Homosexual Freedom.
What campus?
Sac State. And we had to actually go to court because at the time, the college president was an acting president, and he wanted to be appointed permanent president, but Ronald Reagan was the governor, and he felt if he approved the gay group on campus, he would not get to be appointed the permanent president. So we had to sue. And for that time and place, that was major, because we had no rights at that time. You could be fired, you could lose your apartment, your family would kick you out. But I had read a law review article called Why the Status Quo by a professor. It was from a San Diego law school. And he said nothing would change until gay people themselves stepped forward and fought for their own rights. No one was going to hand it to us. So I knew it was important to fight. And the courts at that time, and even now, is a great place to get our civil rights. So we won on a freedom of assembly and freedom of speech issue. And that court case helped other groups around the state and country organize and get on campuses because the judge ruled in our favor. I was lobbying from December 74 to June of 76. And the Willie Brown Consenting Adults Bill had been introduced, I think, for 6 consecutive years and never gone anywhere. And so we decided to send someone to Sacramento to lobby the legislation and basically organize people statewide, and it made a difference. Also having a Democratic governor that would sign the bill, because previously we'd been under Reagan and he said point blank, if you pass it, I will veto it. So it was real important having Jerry Brown as the governor, who privately said, I won't lobby it, but I will sign it. First of all, I have a large extended family, and within that family we had 2 lesbians and a transsexual. So I wasn't the first gay person in the extended family. And the way I came out was a cousin of mine saw me on the cover of The Advocate, and he told my sister and other relatives, George is on the cover of The Advocate. And they go, well, what's The Advocate? So my sister went out and found a copy. At the time, I was California's first gay rights advocate at Sacramento with the legislature, working on some legislation, the Willie Brown Consenting Adults Bill, and a bill dealing with employment discrimination. And the advocate loved me and put me on the cover, and that's how I came out to the family. And so in '81, like everybody else, I remember first hearing about this gay cancer. And at the drugstore on the corner of 18th and Castro, remember Polaroids of people with KS. And so, when you take a shower, you look, you check your body, see if you have any lesions. And I got active like everybody else. We felt that we had to do something. And I was on a citywide advisory committee on AIDS. And I remember I started advocating, lobbying for services to minorities. And I was pulled aside by the chair of the committee and said, this is for us, meaning white gay males. And the person said, if you want something for your community, go start it. And it pissed me off royal because of the discrimination. And it wasn't just happening in San Francisco, it was the story across the country. Because I met a federal administrator from DC, and he put me on a review panel. He asked me, would you like to review a $3 million grant that San Francisco submitted? I said, oh, yes. And so there was a conference call, and he asked, would you grant this proposal? And I said no, because the level of neglect by the public health department and the AIDS organization in San Francisco borders on criminal neglect for the lack of services to the non-English speaking and minorities in general. There was a collective, and they did not get that $3 million. And I knew Harvey Milk, and he ran for office at least 3, maybe 4 times. And the first few times, I did not support him. One of his campaigns was for Assembly, and his opponent was Art Agnos, who was Chief of Staff to the then Speaker, Leo McCarty. So they had done a lot for us, so I felt, reward them, and Art knew Sacramento, so he'd make the better legislator. And so I didn't support Harvey until his last campaign, the campaign for supervisor, because I really got the need to have openly gay public officials to be role models. So I saw the value and the importance of having an elected gay person in office. So I remember doing human billboards, standing on Market Street at church where the streetcars would go downtown, and we'd be about 10 people waving Harvey Milk signs. We'd be human billboards because it was a very low-cost campaign. Anyone can make a difference, and it doesn't take hundreds of people. This group that I'm working with right now in Sacramento on changing how the city funds arts is 6 people. A core group of 6 people that meet every week, and then we in turn get other people to get involved and support what we're doing. It doesn't take a lot of people to make change. One person really can start change.